Sony Music removes their catalog from Boomplay. Now, you may ask, what is Boomplay, right? You don't know what that is.
I do not.
Boomplay is what self-reported as the biggest streaming platform in Africa. Them, and then there's another one called Madundo, I think it's called. Don't come at me for my enunciation, but Boomplay alleges that they have 98 million subscribers on their app. And Sony has pulled their catalog from the streaming platform due to late royalty payments. This move highlights a growing issue in the music industry, particularly in emerging markets where timely and accurate royalty payments can be a challenge, right? So we know that there isn't as much infrastructure in the music industry there as there is here yet, right? And so labels getting payments out, licensing companies, everybody doing the royalty payments, they're not as up to date as other markets may be, right? And so Sony Music is basically saying, if we're going to keep getting late payments, we're just going to remove our music from here, right? And the reason that this is important is because revenue from those artists is going to decrease dramatically, right? So if you think about African artists, like a lot of them, their primary markets are going to be in Africa. And so if you're the primary streaming platform and your primary demographic is no longer bringing you in revenue, it's going to alter how you do business. It's going to alter what you end up doing, like just from a marketing perspective, right? That's a big deal. And the streaming is going to impact their user base, right? So if they're unable to get their favorite artists, if they're unable to listen to, even to take it past the African artist, if I live in Africa and I can't go stream Beyonce,
Right.
I can't go stream Tyler the Creator, right? I'm gonna have to go find somewhere else to listen to it,
Mm.
and that may affect their revenue because I might just stop paying for the app altogether because I don't know how long this is gonna take you. I don't know if it's gonna happen again. So this could decrease their number and make them number two. And then also, it just speaks to how the infrastructure isn't there yet and how much money it really takes to get this stuff together. If you think about the early days of hip hop when it was like this rapper was signed to Man's on the Block and they didn't really have a business for him, I would equate it to that today. Like in a lot of those markets, there might not be a ton of record label infrastructure. So you might be signed to Man's on the Block and the licensing company might not be able to coordinate with them 100%, which might make it hard for payments to flow seamlessly. And so it just speaks to how much money and how much information is still required to build stuff up in those areas. And when you think about it that way, like that's why streaming payments out in those areas are lower, right? Like a stream in Chicago does not equate to a stream in Lagos. They're not the same thing.
Right.
And that's part of why. And so it costs, you have to spend money to make money. So if a lot of these streaming services want to grow these markets like they did in Latin markets, they got to invest.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how some of these platforms invest in the next couple of years. Sure, I was unmuted. Sorry. I think you'll definitely probably see an impact on their user base if they don't move with speed. We see now, even with the NBA, we've seen a drop in viewership. And part of that has been their increase in price as far as how much it costs to go to a game, how much it costs to get NBA League Pass, stuff like that. But then there's also the third part of it of people are always going to find a way around it. Like you said, like half my friends, half of FAMU uses Stream East right now or uses some crack streams or something like that. Like people always are going to find another way to get what they want when it comes to media. So people are going to go and find it. And I think they're definitely going to have to move with some speed. But I think this is interesting because there's a couple other companies that are starting to pop up IPO wise, like in other countries that are interesting, Africa especially. And I think it'll be interesting to see where they go. But
yeah, I just wanted to bring it here just because it speaks to the demographic of people we